Saturday of the first week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of Samuel. There was a stalwart man from Benjamin named Kish, who was the son of Abiel, son of Zeror, son of Bechorath, son of Aphiah, a Benjaminite. He had a son named Saul, who was a handsome young man. There was no other child of Israel more handsome than Saul. He stood head and shoulders above the people. Now the asses of Saul's father Kish had wandered off. Kish said to his son Saul, "Take one of the servants with you, and go out and hunt for the asses." Accordingly they went through the hill country of Ephraim, and through the land of Shalisha. Not finding them there, they continued through the land of Shaalim without success. They also went through the land of Benjamin, but they failed to find the animals. When Samuel caught sight of Saul, the Lord assured him, "This is the man of whom I told you. He is to govern my people." Saul met Samuel in the gateway and said, "Please tell me where the seer lives." Samuel answered Saul, "I am the seer. Go up ahead of me to the high place and eat with me today. In the morning, before dismissing you, I will tell you whatever you wish." Then, from a flask he had with him, Samuel poured oil on Saul's head. He also kissed him, saying, "The Lord anoints you commander over his heritage. You are to govern the Lord's people Israel, and to save them from the grasp of their enemies round about. This will be the sign for you that the Lord has anointed you commander over his heritage." The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "Lord, in your strength the king is glad." O Lord, in your strength the king is glad. In your victory how greatly he rejoices. You have granted him his heart's desire. You refused not the wish of his lips. Lord, in your strength the king is glad. For you welcomed him with goodly blessings. You placed on his head a crown of pure gold. He asked life of you. You gave him length of days forever and ever. Lord, in your strength the king is glad. Great is his glory in your victory. Majesty and splendor you conferred upon him. For you made him a blessing forever. You gladdened him with the joy of your face. Lord, in your strength the king is glad.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus went out along the sea. All the crowd came to him, and he taught them. As he passed by, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the customs post. Jesus said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed Jesus. While he was at table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners sat with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. Some scribes who were Pharisees saw that Jesus was eating with sinners and tax collectors and said to his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus heard this and said to them, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading comes from 1 Samuel 9, 1-4, 17-19, and 10:1. The people have asked for a king for Israel, and Samuel has to go out and find one. He finds Saul, the son of Kish, a man from Benjamin, and he anoints him as king. Saul had been out looking for the donkeys that had run off from his father's herd. He looks for the seer, the prophet, finds Samuel, and Samuel's response is not to give back the donkeys, it's to anoint him with oil. Remember, all kings of Israel are messiahs. The word Messiah means the anointed one. They were all anointed by the sacred oil to be adopted as viceroys of God upon the earth, to be God's representative to his people. The Gospel is from Mark 2, 13 to 17. This is the call of Levi. Levi, Matthew, who's called to follow Jesus. Now Levi is a tax collector, and normally tax collectors were rejected by the Jewish people. They were representatives of an occupying authority, Rome. They were normally dishonest because they would put out a bid up front to collect taxes in an area, pay up front, and then anything they collected was theirs. And so there was no incentive for honesty. And if somebody wanted to complain, they would just have the Roman soldiers beat them up. So tax collectors were considered to be sinners, to be outsiders. Jesus calls Levi and then eats with them. Now the Pharisees would never do that because they believed you had to keep a distance from sinners. Sin was a type of contagion. If you associate with sinners, you're going to catch what they have. We still have a sense of this when we warn our teenagers to keep away from bad examples, to keep away from certain people, because we're afraid that they'll pick up the wrong values. Well, Jesus' response is that the last thing this man needs is more alienation. He's come to heal him. Jesus considers himself a physician. He's come to call sinners and not the righteous. The difficulty with the righteous is they're self-satisfied. They think they're their own gods, whereas the sinners at least recognize that they're broken. So when Jesus comes into their life, they're ready to embrace his message. That's a reminder to all of us that our following of Jesus is not because we've got it perfect, not because we're better than others, but rather we recognize our brokenness, our sinfulness, and we need Jesus to be a part of our lives. And may God bless us.